All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I think one of the most disheartening things that I've learned in my short life, and that's just about half of a century, about humanity is this. And I think I've been on a learning curve of steroids since dealing with people who claim to be saints and, actually living a set-apart life on a community. I remember when I first started the community, I would let anybody. If anybody had what I believe to be a righteous spirit, I'd let them come. And the majority of people that has ever come to Straightway, and I'm going to use terms like this, didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. And I also learned that people who don't have a pot to piss in and the window to throw it out of possess a different type of character and nature than people who do have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. And I'm sure you can read between the lines, but over the years, myself and the saints at Straightway, we become very, very selective of who we're going to allow to live on the land, or who we are going to actually allow to move and become part of us, because we've already been tested, proven, and tried. Earlier, I had a pastor friend ask me a question. Well, it was some time ago. He asked me, he says, how do you do it? And I said, how do you do what? He says, how do you do it? I said, what, Pastor? Well, how do I do what? He says, how do you get over the fear of man? I said, how you do what? Get over the fear of man. I said, man, that's got to be the easiest question in the world to answer. It's number one, don't care about what people think who are outside of your scope, circle, and sphere. I mean, forget these people. If they've added nothing to you, and if all that people can add to you is pain and suffering, or they desire to inflict pain and suffering, thank Yah that you know who your enemies are. That way you don't have to discern who your enemies are. And that way it's easy for you to be able to know who's your friends and foes. But, one of the biggest ways to overcome in this life is not to care about what other people think. Now, I'm not saying those that are close to you and your loved ones, because there will always be some form of caring about what they what they believe and what they think. But people who add nothing to you, people who have never brought any benefit to your life whatsoever at all, why care about what these people think? I mean, the majority of the world today is either schizophrenic, they done lost their mind, and they definitely are not going to submit to biblical principles. I mean, why even care about people like that? Why care about someone that will gossip and slander? Why care about, the Bible says, the fear of man bringeth a snare. Okay then, so that should automatically teach you, don't fear man. That way you don't have to worry about being snared. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I could possibly say to anyone nowadays, is that you got to overcome caring about what people think. I mean, if you really truly care about what people think, you've got a life of hell in front of you, because people can look at you with crazy looks, look at you with a spirit spewing out of their eyes and everything, and because you are trying to win their opinion and win them over, and some people, they do not care about ever being your friend. And I mean, why even put yourself in a position to where you would even think about caring about what these people would think? That is just nonsensical to me. It just doesn't make sense. And let me tell you something. If I spent my life caring about what people think, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's just the truth. Because people are evil. I mean, really evil. And if you ever, there's an old saying that hell has not known no fury like a woman scorned. Well, now we done entered in, I can enter in another one. Hell has not known no fury like an effeminate man who has female traits, and he is scorned. I mean, we living in a world where if you don't do things the way that people think you ought to do it, the first thing they're going to do is attack you with malicious words. They're going to try to defame your character and destroy your relationship. And you should thank Yah. And you should clap your hands and you should say, good. Now I know who my enemy is. I know exactly who my enemy is. And my enemy is never, ever, ever going to ever deceive me because I know who he is. You know, you are blessed when people revile you, when they speak evil of you, when they say all manner of evil against you falsely for his name's sake. You're blessed. You're blessed. But, you know, we live in a world that, bottom line is, if it ain't in a court of law, it really truly don't matter. The world has more sense than we do. I know that sometimes people say things about you that are hurtful, and you may feel hurt in part, but don't ever let the negative influence of someone who has added nothing to you ever influence your life in a negative way. Surround yourself by positive people. That's what you do. And those who will advance your life. That's what you want to do. Because life is already short enough and it's already full of enough pain and suffering than to have people in it that you don't care about, and then you make the stupid move of caring about the looks of people and what people think. That is just crazy. I ain't never really saw it, and I'm thinking, y'all ain't never saw it and ain't never gonna see it. I just don't care about what people think. I do care about those who are in the ministry with me. I care about them extremely. And I do care about what they think because I have to listen to them as a counselor and a pastor. But don't take heed to all words that are spoken. You don't need to do that. And don't worry about people. Just don't worry about them. And there's an old saying, don't worry, be happy.